Today's episode of the Natural Habitat Podcast is brought to you by Dr. J's Rolling Trays. Dr. J's Rolling Trays is a stylish way for you to roll up your weed. They have all 100% hand-carved wooden trays, Canadian-made. They come in black walnut, cherry, maple, all different types of styles. So go to rollingtrays.com today and get yourself a tray. Use the code NHP and save 10%. Today we're talking about, what are we talking about? Today is Saturday, so that means it's a Saturday matinee. It's the middle of November, which means our movie today is Grumpy Old Man.
The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast. Habitat Podcast.
Dude, did you listen to the podcast on the plane?
No, the Joe Rogan one?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, but I have that reminds me, I downloaded this new app. It's like a HD audio recorder for my phone, and I had to pay for it. It was like $3.99 for the sweet quality, and I could record shit on my phone now, and the quality's like, it's less than this, of course, but it's not bad at all, especially after I treat it and everything. So I'm going to be going to the Harvest Festival in just a few days here on the 23rd, and I'm just going to bring my phone, and I'm just going to do little quick interviews with business owners and entrepreneurs and whatnot, and splice those all into a podcast. So, you know, we're going to start doing those podcasts in different places, like he does, podcast in a car, podcast on a plane.
Yeah, because it was good.
Yeah? I didn't listen to it.
Yeah. It was all about the fucking Rondify and, like, all the shit that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
And it was with Dana White and fucking Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, yeah, and they got a bunch of heat because they talked about Cyborg's dick.
Tony did.
Tony did, and then it pissed Cyborg off, and then...
Who cares? He's a comedian. He can talk about whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's right.
So can Joe. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I'm like, of course she's gonna hate. She's a fucking man. Of course she's gonna hate. Yeah.
It's mostly all satirical, and you know, a little bit of it is probably some truth or some real beliefs that they have.
It was a straight up joke. It was a setup like a joke thing. You know what I mean? Like it was no way meant to be serious. And if you know what I mean? Like, they weren't just picking on her or anything. They were actually saying, oh, fucking, you should set up the fight now with fucking Cyborg. And one of them, I think they were trying to say that they should match up Cyborg with Ronda still or something like that.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's like heaven for the trolls or anybody that likes to get offended easily, because podcasts are the easiest thing to just take a little sentence out of and take it out of context. You know what I mean? Because it's like a long discussion. You discuss something for 5 minutes. You need all that context. Otherwise, what you say can be misconstrued. Happens to us all the time.
Well, yeah, but the fact that fucking these people know that they're doing that, I guarantee the people who are taking these stories out of fucking Rogan's podcast listen to the entire episode. They know what they're doing. They're doing this shit on purpose. They're falsifying stories just to create fucking headlines. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they're creating the drama because that's what sells their fucking drama. That's what their articles and magazines and fucking companies live off of. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just trying to stir the pot, and they know they're doing it, and fucking Rogan knows they're doing it. That's why he doesn't give a shit or say anything about it, because he's like, they're always going to do it. If you listen to the podcast, you'll know the truth. Yep. You know what I mean? That's why he's not tripping or like.
If you say something offensive and then somebody, you know, questions you about it and puts you on blast about it, and you don't respond and get into some interaction with that person, then all it is publicity. That's all it is. Because out of every one person that reads that and goes, wow, that's so disrespectful, 5 people are going to go, he's a fucking comedian, and it's kind of funny. I want to hear it. I want to hear it now. And then they'll go download that episode.
That's fucking shout out to common sense, whoever has it. You know what I mean? the most uncommon thing on planet Earth is common sense.
I think a lot of our listeners have it. So we have a lot of bright fucks here. A couple stupid ones though. I'm not gonna lie. A couple of you guys are dumb, and that's just not your fault. It's the way you were raised and where you were born. So.
Oh, by the way, welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, this is the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah.
My name's Unknown.
This is not the Joe Rogan podcast you have tuned into.
No.
Even though we
just love to talk about it all the fucking time. We're so obsessed.
Yep, that's what we do.
We're like little fangirls.
But it's like in all actuality, I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast before I started doing podcasts. I used to do the old JSC radio and stuff, but that doesn't count. And it got me like back into it, I would say. And there's the first podcast that I really got into and listened to the whole thing was with Jim Norton on Joe Rogan. So, I'm not gonna just pretend that he doesn't exist. And this is a different world than hip hop. You know what I mean? To where, if you ride someone.
I think my two biggest influences for podcasting was probably Rogan and Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily the Smodcast, but just his conversation, everything he does, like when he does shows, it's an evening with Kevin Smith, and it's like just a forum. It's a live place where he tells stories and people can ask questions and back and forth. So it's always the discussion, you know what I mean? And I feel like I've always been a fan of the intelligent discussion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hearing his stories, hearing Rogan's talks, hearing smart people talk is comforting. It's like easily keeps your interest, and I think that's really what got me into it. I don't even think necessarily like I was a fan of podcasting in general. It's just the fact that I'm like old school and like the old talk stuff. Like I used to like the Howard Stern, and I like a lot of fucking, even though NPR is like, historically boring, I still love it. I don't know. I just like to hear about shit. I find shit interesting. I love the History Channel and like all that type of shit.
Or like growing up listening to Loveline and shit. Like fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much the same thing. That was a podcast about sex. So.
Yeah, so whatever the label is, whether it's fucking podcasting, internet radio, terrestrial radio, fucking, whether it's a live show Q&A or a forum or fucking whatever it is, it's all discussion. It's all the same thing, and if it's intelligent, it's fucking captivating, Yep, and the cool thing about the world of podcasting is that you can freely pay homage to, your people that you listen to, your favorite podcasters and people that got you into it. And, one of the things that, yet again, I'll bring his ass up, Joe Rogan says, is that he says that he has hundreds of people that have emailed him and said that they listen to his podcast and in turn started their own podcast. And he says that that's great, that the more people that are out there making, like having informative discussions and talking about shit that interests them and being creative, there might be people that listen to that don't listen to Joe Rogan. And, it's just more people that will get reached by the podcast community, and everyone works together here, which is dope. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the point I want to make. But fuck all that, because we are here to pay our respects to an old movie full of dead people. Are all these people dead now? Or are these people still alive? I'm assuming they're. I don't know.
That's a horrible way to start this.
Yeah.
Yep. No respect at all.
Yeah.
So
it's an oldie but goodie. It's an Insta classic from that same period that we always like to delve into. See, here's the thing. Every generation feels like their era was the best. And back in their day, things were really things. Movies were really movies. Music was really music. You know what I mean? It's the same for everybody. Like, we feel the same exact way. We feel like 80s and 90s shit was the best ever. But, you know what I mean? It's just because we're biased. That was the time we grew up in, so it was the best to us. You know what I mean? So riding along with that bias, we're back in our fucking favorite time period. I believe this was 93.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? That's like, I feel like that's the Goldilocks zone for us. You know what I mean? From between 84 and 95.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's like the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah,
you can pretty much talk about anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but any single thing from that time period, and we're gonna be like lit up like fucking Christmas.
Yep, I agree. I don't know what it is. It's just it's the quality. You know what I mean? It was a good story. It was funny. There was no special effects or any sort of crazy shit that the movie like was riding on, and it was just a classic, man. Grumpy Old Men. Did we say that yet? Did we say?
We didn't say it yet, but there you go, bitches.
There it is. Grumpy Old Men for people that can't read but know how to listen.
That just reminds me of something funny too. It's like I've noticed ever since like a young age, like any self-respecting movie will say the movie's title in the movie somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a good movie or it portrays itself to be a good movie and hopes it will turn into that, it will say its title in the movie somewhere.
Yep.
And nonchalantly in a conversation or like whatever it is, whatever the setup scenario, the movie fucking title gets said. So on Saturday matinees around here, we have to say the title.
That's right. And any good cinephile will wait for it and will scream in the movie theater when they say the title of the movie and be like, "They said it, yeah!" And just turn into Ric Flair. So,
approved.
Fucking, did they? I'm sure that they said it in the movie. I don't remember exactly when, but I'm sure it said they're just some grumpy old men.
Yeah.
Guaranteed
it said in there. Guaranteed.
It's like I want to say that there was like a Family Guy bit about it, and they were talking about how they say the name of the movie in the movies, and they did they showed like Superman talking to someone, and he's like, "That's why my name is Superman 4, A Quest for Truth." And Peter's like, "Oh, that's why they call it that." So, like, that's what I imagine the second movie would have been like when they had to say grumpier old men. That would have been hard to squeeze into a sentence all nonchalant. You know? Yeah, there's some grumpier old men than before.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, sometimes it seems like the setup would just have to be perfect for it, you know, like that, like grumpier. You know what I mean? Like that would have to, but it probably wasn't that hard. You know, it's
like one of those things, like where you're writing, like when you're writing a verse and you write one line before the other line out of order. It's like that. They had to do that. So, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau are the main stars of this movie. They're both dead. They died in 2000 and 2001. Rest in peace. They did a whole slew of movies together. They were in Out to Sea, The Odd Couple, My Fellow Americans, and a bunch of other, flicks together. They were a great team. They were best friends, but they always played enemies. And that in this movie again, they played enemies, and they had a feud over a new female neighbor that moves across the street. And she is either looks very good for her age or is significantly younger than these old men. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't look that old.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what was a trip is what I think it's Jack Lemmon's dad in the movie. His real name's Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
His character was supposed to be 94 years in the movie. He's supposed to be 94 years old, but in real life he was 85 when they filmed it. And he was only 17 years older than Jack Lemmon.
Well, lucky for him, he looks old as fuck.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, it's crazy. It's crazy to see, like, generations portrayed through films and TV shows and stuff sometimes, because you can see the age gaps are not right or, like, not appropriate. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's funny
they'll be
how
having people play old people at a young age, like,
yeah.
Like, Steve Martin seems like he's been old forever.
He's been the same age forever.
Like, yeah, exactly. You know, and that's like scary. He started out at a young age playing an old character. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of them. So, like, their careers feel like they're double the length that they should be because they've portrayed these older characters since a young age.
Yeah.
So they have that super old age longevity where, like, they just have these continuing characters that they get.
And one of the best things about movies like this, older movies with, older characters, is that you usually have the dynamic of father and son, where it'll be like the son is, more like, this is, average movies or any other movie today. The son is more rebellious, does drugs, parties, banging the girls, and the dad is like stern, old-timey, like old values. This is how a man's supposed to be. Don't ever do this. And in this movie, they kind of scooted everything down a generation, so where the main characters are the old men with values that you should live a certain way. And Jack Lemmon's dad is just old as fuck, crazy. Like, that's how the old parents were. The grandparents.
Right.
Just insane.
That shit crazy, but smart at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
Like, they knew what time it was.
Yep, and it's weird how...
They just wanted to let you play out your own scenario. Like, they could see it coming, but they're just like, fuck it. Why say anything? They're going to have to go through it.
Yep, and the generations... as the generations change, the dynamic changes, and it's interesting to see like how different it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. So where is this at? Minnesota?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah. And
people from Minnesota feel like the movie was more about Minnesota.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that it's more of a documentary about the life in Minnesota. Which is like, what the fuck, guys?
I mean, it is kind of, I guess, like, it does portray, like, the hardships, the things that they have to go through, the snow, the fucking, their seasonal thing, the ice fishing, you know what I mean? Like, those are all real things that they do over there.
Yeah. But still, it's like, just because Beverly Hills Cop isn't a documentary about being a cop in California, you know what I mean?
Right.
But... you never know. I guess I don't live in Minnesota, and I've never really been there, so I'm not one to talk about it.
If they feel the need to claim that way, then let them. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in Minnesota. Yeah. So if you live in Minnesota and you want to say that the movie was a documentary about your hometown, then fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. All I know is that Walter Matthau was hospitalized due to pneumonia after filming the movie in Minnesota. So Minnesota sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's cold as shit.
That's the only thing that I have to go off of, and I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Fuck Minnesota because the Vikings just beat us. I was super mad about that.
That was a slow slide. A slow slide from Minnesota is pretty cool. You're nice people, and then all the way down to fuck Minnesota. But hey,
I'm a Raiders fan. Vikings just beat us, but whatever.
And also, if you are from Minnesota and listening to this podcast, we're most likely talking about your parents, all right? And you hate them too, so don't act like you don't.
Yeah,
we all do. Yeah. We all hate your parents.
So this movie reminds me of the future of the Natural Habitat podcast. I feel like we're the odd couple. I've said it before, and I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, really, we're so opposite. We didn't even know each other when we started doing the show, and it just blends, you know what I mean? Like, it just blends really well, and I feel like we're going to go through a lot of these same scenarios as we age as a show together, and I'm looking forward to it, you know what I mean? A lot of hijinks, a lot of fun shit like these guys had.
Yeah, you know? and then we'll be old as fuck like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon up in the skybox at the Olympics.
Episode 9,999.
Yep. What year is that going to be again? The Olympics in LA?
Fuck, I don't know.
Was it like 45 or something like that?
It was like 24, or like maybe it was later than that actually.
Yeah, I want to say it was pretty late because I was going to be old as shit.
I don't know. It's going to be old.
Maybe it is 24. I don't know. Who knows? Well, if you want to come and hang out with us at the Olympics, we'll be there in 2020 something. So I say that we get into a little smoke sesh. How you feel about that?
Yeah. I'm down. Except for I found one cool little fact I want to mention.
All right.
Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were considered for these roles.
Yeah, I read that.
How crazy is that?
That's
I don't want to like we always talk about how our grandparents were our biggest influences. Well, my grandparents were mine, but it wasn't my grandparents. It was my great grandparents, and that's what I think I forget to tell people is was my great grandparents that I spent most of the time with when I was young.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that put me onto all the old shit. And I fucking love Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis and like all that era of shit. You know what I mean?
The Rat Pack.
Shit was way different. Yeah. And they were the shit. I mean, nobody really had their shit together better than them and like Sinatra. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that they were into and the way that they were like leaders of their fucking industries, and like they really fucking made the world go round. And it's crazy to look back and see it. And now that I know this fact, I'm like tripping on it. I'm like, wow, this would have been a completely different movie. You know what I mean? It wouldn't. I don't think it would. I mean, it probably would have been just as funny. It probably would have just had a different, a little different humor or whatever, because they're from different places or whatnot. But
yeah,
I mean,
and then Sammy Davis Jr. would have played the dad.
Yeah.
But I know that Dean Martin died, and it was like right after this in '95. So
yeah, '95.
There might not have been a sequel.
Yep.
Never know how it would have turned out. I think that it says that
they were an odd couple also. You know, Martin and Lewis would have always did shit together, just like fucking Lemmon and Matthau. So you know what I mean? It was like would have been cool either way. I think I would have think it would have been just as awesome. You never know. I think maybe they should have made a cameo in it. You know, it would have been cool to see him.
Yeah.
In it as well. You know. Good times. Mm-hmm. Smoke sesh.
So I understand that you have a Smoke Sesh song picked out for us.
Yep. This is from. We usually don't do stuff like this. Play the end first. We usually try to keep it like chronologically in order.
Oh yeah,
but
that reminds me. I started putting episodes up on YouTube. So you can go and search Natural Habitat Podcast on YouTube, everybody, and find episodes, and you could watch them on your TV or do whatever it is you do on YouTube. And
yep.
The thing is that we started getting pulled like crazy, like fucking the Shelby Chong interview. Well, we didn't get pulled, we just can't monetize them, which really doesn't matter. But the Shelby Chong episode, we got flagged for the Up in Smoke song, and then the Kung Fu episode, we got flagged for the Collie Buds song, even though it was a remix. It was still the same tempo and the same words, so they flagged us for it. And I got like official fucking like copyright infringement emails and shit. It was crazy. So we might get another one for this. We'll see how it goes.
Nah.
But the important thing is that it doesn't pull the video from YouTube. It just makes it so it won't play any ads. Which
they're not pulled for SoundCloud though, are they?
No, the SoundCloud's good.
YouTube fucking suck dick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
You know what? I think we could fight them. You know, I don't know if anybody out there's a lawyer or knows the podcast rules or like the fucking rules of the airwaves or whatever, but we use everything in fair use. Yep. So because we're a talk show, I don't think that they have the right to flag our shit. I think we might be able to win this.
Yep, I don't think they have the right to do it either. I think that it's just some sort of automated computer thing that was scanning shit, and that if we tell someone to fucking get on it, that they'll switch it for us. So
yeah, we definitely would. So in honor of you assholes, let's get high.
Yeah. All right, lay it on us. Or hey,
wait! You forgot the magic words.
That's right. Everybody, go out there and flick your bics, snap your pics, hashtag them NHP Smoke Sesh, and we could all smoke together. All right? Don't be scared.
This is the end music from the movie.
All right. I'm gonna heat up this nail. Yeah.
Good morning, young world. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Makes me feel like changing my hand-knitted grandma sweater. Makes me feel like putting on a fresh pair of house shoes. And maybe heading over to the land of make-believe.
Dab time. You know, this reminds me of like some Rat Pack type shit.
Yeah. Very appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely their era, you know what I mean? Like that style comes from their generation. They've always been like that cool, well-dressed, well-upkept, fucking on-point generation, you know, from the way that they dressed, from the way that they talked, the way that they acted in public, the way that they portrayed themselves, you know what I mean? People just had a different type of like class, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? They kept it real old school and on point.
Yep.
And you know what's cool is we're on our way back to that time era. You know what I mean? People like the hipsters are leading this crazy movement, and it's like fucking getting people to like dress nicer and fucking act nicer, and you know what I mean? It's just like everything comes in full circle. I swear, it's like we're reliving so many time periods from before us, while simultaneously at the same time breaking new ground on new shit all the time, you know what I mean? So it's crazy. We're in this cool place in life, this cool timing where it's like we're in the future and creating the future, but we're bringing all the past with us.
Yeah. And I think it's just, you know, I think it has a lot to do with the internet and our new way of, you know, keeping information. Things used to be in books and written down and drawn, and like, you know, generations and times would pass and things would change and things would be lost, you know what I mean? But it seems like in the past 100 years, all of that is, you know, every single day is chronicalized on the internet as if it's like some sort of super brain that anybody could access. And, you know, all of these things that would have just been legend before are now, you know, pictures and things that you could read in 2 minutes. You could access whatever you want. And I think that's, you know, it's a weird time where everything's just kind of melded together. And
I really wonder what it would have been like before the Dark Ages. Like, I wonder how much shit we lost. You know what I mean? Like how much information, like 90% of everything was gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I wonder what significant shit was out there that we could look to and see like, oh, we did already know this shit. You know what I mean? Like the way that things happen and the way that history repeats itself, and like, you know what I mean? Like science finds all these things and it feels like all these things have happened already. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy, man. I wonder what was lost, you know?
Did you hear?
I'll tell you what wasn't lost.
Grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man was not lost.
Yeah.
So this movie grossed $70 million.
So, $70 million?
$70 million. And then 734,000 pounds across the pond. And let's see, $35 million in rentals. So that was back when people would rent millions and millions of dollars worth of VHS movies.
Well, even DVDs, you know what I mean? Like, people don't even buy DVDs anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's crazy. No, it makes sense that all those places went out of business, but it's still like, it's like an overnight thing. You know what I mean? Like, the internet just shit on everything.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
And it's crazy. Super crazy. A lot of that stuff you don't even find. Like, a lot of stuff that wasn't as good, or like, you know what I mean? Like, wasn't, was probably shelved, or like wasn't carried on. You know, the shit that nobody liked and didn't make it to now, really. You know what I mean? Like, it's like hit or miss. I look for stuff and can't find it all the time. You know, so it's like,
and it's like
what happens?
There's so many things that were bad when they were made and were bad for 10 years and then turn into like a cult classic once everybody has access to better drugs. Then, you know, these movies become amazing. So I wonder how many awesome movies were lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You never know. Nobody
does. So,
Nobody ever does.
So you got some clips over here from this film?
I sure do, bro. I sure do. I'm gonna lay one on you.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind laughing a little bit.
All right, let's do it.
There's a letter for you, Mr. Gustafson. Just read it. Morning, dickhead.
Hello, moron.
What are you,
Never mind. Just forget it.
who's the guy yakking at your door?
Just mind your own business, will you?
Mind your own business, will you? Mind your own business. Why don't you tie your shoelace? You'll fall on your stupid head. Having a heat wave here. We're having a heat wave. Tropical heat wave.
Yeah, tropical heat wave. It's fucking freezing out. Everything's covered in foot of snow.
Somebody moving into the old Klickner place.
Gee, you picked up on that, Sherlock.
Excuse me.
I wonder if you gentlemen could tell me where I could find Mr. Gustafson? No, Gustafson, no, sorry.
Mr. John Gustafson?
That's right.
You mean the lowlife, asswipe, egg sucker, John Gustafson?
Have you seen him?
Man's crazy, loco, always hanging out around those kinky strip bars. You know, the ones where the men take their clothes off? That's, of course, if he's taking his medication.
Medication?
Yes, without it, he could be anywhere, wandering around, talking to the trees. Believe me, this man is a menace. He's always drinking, starting fights. Isn't that right?
But have you seen him? No.
I think perhaps. No.
If you see him. Would you give him this and tell him he must contact Mr. Snyder as soon as possible?
Okay, Snyder.
That's me. It's important.
Important. Yes, sir. We'll tell him when we see him. Oh, look
Watch
out.
out for that ice there.
Slippery, very slippery.
You're right.
That's gonna be us, dude.
Yep. I fucking
I'll play you up.
I can't wait to be fucking old and crazy. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like old people can just do whatever the fuck they want. And you can
Yeah, it's like there's this unwritten rule that old people get a pass. You know what I mean? Like they could be crazy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
They can say some off the ball shit, and it could have some truth to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they just get a pass no matter what.
And you can say some real shit like anybody's grandpa right now could hate on Caitlyn Jenner and totally get away with it, even though you're not supposed to do that. And they'd be like, "Well, he's from a different time." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's it's gonna be so much fun, dude. I can't wait. And you know, I think that they did a good job of like capturing the character of just some crazy asshole old men, or like just some crazy asshole dudes that grew up, and it's like the actors were amazing, and that had a lot to do with it. And they just
to me, it's like it seems like that's how they would have been even if they were young. You know, it didn't matter that they were old men.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean? Like
the only
like they just that was their attitude. That was their like plight in life. That's who they were, you know.
The only thing old about those motherfuckers was their skin, and everything else they might as well have just been fucking like 20 years old, you know, like doing
still talking shit, still fucking having fun.
It's like the same dynamic as like Seth Rogen and James Franco, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna be that same way one day, just old as fuck, making weird ass movies.
Yeah, and I think that's smart, you know, and I think that's important to like to have that portrayal, you know, to see that, you know, no, I don't think anybody feels old.
No,
I'm 30, 31. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel old.
That's what I watched.
And like I can imagine like 30 years from now, and I'd probably feel the same. Like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that everybody has that feeling in your mind. I don't think your mind ever gets old.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy.
And like, people treat old people like a certain way and think that, you know, they're just people. They're people like everybody else. And they did a really good job in it, or of doing it, in this new show that I watched on Netflix. It's called Master of None. It's Aziz Ansari's new show. Did I already talk about it?
A little bit, not really.
But there's this episode where he goes with his girlfriend to go and visit like her grandma or whatever in like some old folks home. And she's all like, she shows up and she's like, "Hi, Grandma," and like, "Well, everything's good." And her grandma's like, "So what's up? Like, who's this guy?" And then she like gets a call and she has to leave, and her grandma's like, "What, are you leaving already? Like, what the fuck?" And then Aziz Ansari is like, I'll stay with your grandma. Like, we'll hang out and, you know, finish this card game. And they end up like going out to dinner and shit and like spending a bunch of time together. And she's just like anybody else. Like, and she's all like, "So what are your intentions with my granddaughter?" And then like she tells all these stories about like when she was young and all the crazy shit that she did. And she's like getting hammered. And it's like, she looks like just some nice old lady that you want to be like respectful to, but she was just as raunchy as anybody else. And I think that's how a lot of them are. And, you know, when you're old, you could just kind of be stern and quiet, and you could get away with not talking to people. Because I hate talking to people. Like, I hate getting stuck talking to people that I don't know, that just turn out to be hella annoying or don't have anything great to say. And you're like, you're in some place and they won't leave you alone. Well, people don't bug old people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, old people just get a pass.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. They get a pass to basically do whatever they want because they earned it from making it that far. And that is a fucking accolade, you know what I mean? Like, to live a long time, not most people don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit happens to people, especially now. There's so many people, you know what I mean? Like, who knows if you're gonna live to be old or not? You know, you never know what could happen.
Yep. And a lot of these teams are broken up because of, you know, drugs or some sort of unfortunate death. Like Chris Farley and David Spade were in a lot of movies together, and then Chris Farley passed. And I think it's weird that, you know, Jack and Walter were a comedy team. They were like an unofficial team. You know what I mean? They always did stuff together, but they were never, you know, Jack and Walter, blah, blah, blah. And like how you and me are like an unofficial team. You know what I mean? Like, we're not like officially like on some sort of, you know, project with like a group name. We're just, you know, a team that comes together and we make this podcast, and it's dope. So it's weird that they both went through their career together and then died within a year of each other. You know what I mean? Like, they rode the whole wave, the whole wave together.
Yeah, it's intense, right?
Yep.
Man, I don't know. It's pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
And they had they gave us a lot of laughs. I think this was a great movie, and which a lot of other people did too, because it spawned a sequel. You know, so I mean, not every movie gets a sequel. I know that they try to milk shit and make as much money as they can or whatever, but you know what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely a classic, and if you haven't seen it for a while and you want to enjoy it, I know that it's you could rent it on YouTube for $2.99, which
Got another clip.
I think I'm gonna do. Or you could just watch it in little tiny clips on our show.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Give me a minute, will you? I'll be with you in a second. I just had to do something here. It's very important.
6.4 million. That's our estimated jackpot tonight. You could be our next millionaire or... Remember to win the jackpot, correctly match 5. First number is a...
He's changing the channel on his TV with the remote.
There's number 4.
Oh yeah, from next door.
Correctly match 5 white balls.
Yeah.
And next up is a... Come on!
The schmuck doesn't know what's happening.
25. Just one more white ball, and here it is. Jesus Christ!
Here we go.
Coleman, you.
Give it a try. Don't tell me, Jacob. It isn't me.
Oh, it never is. I'm sure John started every fight since 1940.
38.
That's ridiculous. Hey, John! Oh, come over here and apologize.
I'm not apologizing to anybody. You're letting the cold air. Take that, you criminal.
So he was next door with a remote control, changing the channel on the neighbor's TV.
Yeah.
Just fucking with him.
Yeah, that's good shit. You know what I mean? You could still do that, you know? All cable still works the same. Everybody still has a universal remote.
Yeah.
You still change your neighbor's channel if you have their remote.
So it looks like Lemmon and Matthau did 13 movies together in total.
Yeah.
So they
It's
were
crazy, dude.
They were in The Fortune Cookie, The Odd Couple. Oh, I'm getting a call. I'm getting a Skype call from Bill Johnson.
Don't do that.
I'm not doing it. They were in The Fortune Cookie, The Odd Couple 2, Koch, The Front Page, The Gentleman Trap, Buddy Buddy, JFK, Chaplin, Grumpy Old Men, Grumpier Old Men, The Grass Harp, and Out to Sea. So
Damn.
there's a few of those that I've never heard of that I'm gonna check out.
Yeah. I definitely want to check them out too. That's pretty awesome. I bet you they're good.
Yeah. So they were quite the team, man. They were homies, worked together on a lot of shit, made a lot of classics. Jack Lemmon was a veteran. He was in the military, which was crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
I think we have some new duos like that, a few. You know what I mean? Like you said, like Rogan and Franco, like that's kind of one.
this guy, he just keeps calling me.
And then Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly would be another one.
Yeah.
You know, they did a few. They should do more. I think if they did more movies, they would kill it. So that's cool. I mean, it's cool to have those pairs like that just dominate and kill it together. You know what I mean? And I think it really worked for them because of they were like really homies. You know?
Yeah. So, yeah, everybody out there should definitely go and watch this movie, especially if you're a youngin' and you haven't seen this movie. I don't know what the fuck you're doing living under a rock, ain't seen Grumpy Old Men. Go watch that shit. Also, before we go, I want to give a shout out to fagolovers.net. They did a nice, sweet little write-up post on their blog about us and the Kung Fu Vampire episode, and shared it for us and gave us some props. So thank you guys. That's dope. Anybody out here that wants to help us out, go there to that page, fagolovers.net, find the post and leave a comment and a like and all that shit. Give them some traffic over there so that way they'll post more episodes in the future. I thought it was a nice thing. Thank you to Scotty D over there.
Pretty dope. Pretty awesome.
So, yeah, that's about it. A Saturday matinee. Another one in the can. I don't think that's the right expression. In the bag. I think it's in the bag. In the can? But that implies that they're all trash and we're just throwing them away.
No. Film used to be in a can.
Oh. Ho, ho. All right. Well, another one in the can. There it is. We'll see you on Saturday.
Peace, bitches.
The Natural Habitat Podcast.